I do wonder why Herschel Walker's numbers are down. I guess we'll go do a little bit of an experiment, a little bit of research, see why. Maybe we'll come to a conclusion ourselves. This one is from Tisla. Dancing Meowth plus Slime Suris. Oh, well. It is adorable. The next one we have here is from... This one is from Kira Sakura. So slimes burst out of the body. Danger. Do not drink slime. Do not. The things I've seen. Jesus. The last one we have here is from... Vasha. Suris asked what a proto was, so I decided to make him into one. I still don't know what a proto is. Anyway, as always, thank you all for your fan art submissions. If you want your fan art to be shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it in the fan art section of the Discord. With that said, if you haven't already hit the bell notification icon or subscribed, please consider doing so. And as always, let's get right into the topic at hand. So, Herschel Walker. Let's start out where some of this began.
They think they can threaten.
So apparently there was a $700 donation that Herschel Walker threw out somewhere. And people were trying to figure out where it was from and what it went to. And there were conversations about him paying for his girlfriend's abortion and all kinds of weird stuff. So let's take a listen.
They think they can threaten me. They think they can scare me. Right now, all that done is has energized me more that I'm going to fight and win this seat for the great people of Georgia, because to have someone in the seat that lies to the people shouldn't be in the seat as a senator.
What about the $700 check? Is there anybody you can remember sending that much money to?
Well, I send money to a lot of people, and that's what's so funny. And let's go back to my part. You know, I do scholarship for kids. I give money to people all the time because I'm always helping people, because I believe in being generous. God has blessed me, and I want to bless others. And I got into this race because I'm a Christian. I love the Lord Jesus Christ, and I always tell everyone that no weapon formed against me shall prosper. So they think they can threaten me.
So, a couple of things here. One, if being a Christian is the reason you got into politics, get the fuck out of politics. Secondly, I see that. Well, I give money to a lot of people. Well, that's a non-answer. It's really a non-answer. It doesn't get us anywhere. It tells us nothing. And then he just falls back into a defense. Now, do I care about this $700 going somewhere? Not necessarily. I don't know if I should care. We're going to do a little bit of digging and see why we should care. But before we do that, maybe we should take a second to look at things that his son has said about him. Christian Walker goes on to Twitter and says, I know my mom and I would really appreciate if my father Herschel Walker stopped lying and making a mockery of us. You're not a, quote, family man when you left us to bang a bunch of women, threatened to kill us, and had us move over 6 times in 6 months, running from your violence. Wow. That is certainly a statement. I saw that tweet and went, what the fuck? Yeah, and that's why we're going to have to get into a little bit of stuff here. Give me a sec. Oh, Herschel's the perfect politician. Yep. Apparently he is. He is great. Give me just a second. Those are advertisements. I don't care about that. Do. 1 second here. Okay, cool. So, let's go ahead and continue with Herschel's son extrapolating a little bit. As soon as I can get it to actually go up. There we go.
I stayed silent as the atrocities committed against my mom were downplayed. I stayed silent when it came out that my father, Herschel Walker, had all these random kids across the country, none of whom he raised. And you know my favorite issue to talk about is father absence. Surprise, because it affected me. That's why I talk about it all the time, because it affected me. Family values, people. He has 4 kids, 4 different women, wasn't in the house raising one of them. He was out having sex with other women. Do you care about family values? I was silent, lie after lie after lie. The abortion card drops yesterday. It's literally his handwriting in the card. They say they have receipts, whatever. He gets on Twitter. He lies about it. Okay, I'm done. Done. Everything has been a lie. And so for the right to say I'm being suspicious for saying, hey, I'm done with the lies, when you all have been calling me saying, is this true about your dad? Gosh, we're not going to win Georgia, this candidate, all, that's been you. You have no idea what I've been through in my life. You have no idea what me and my mom have survived. We could have ended this on day 1. We haven't. I haven't told any stories. I'm just saying don't lie. Don't lie on my mom. Don't lie on me. Don't lie on the lives you've done.
So, definitely a bit of context. I do not like, in any way, shape, or form. Hold on. Let me go ahead and kill ad blocker for this site. I do not like Christian Walker. I've done content before on Christian Walker. However, I do find it very interesting the way that he frames his feelings towards his dad, the way that his dad has operated. Just said Christian values always tell the truth so long as you lie about what's really concerned. Okay, just reading chat. Shouldn't be reading chat. So let's go ahead and take a look at a little bit of information on some of what these stories may be alluding to. So Herschel Walker says he's been transparent about past violence, but has he? Let's take a look. Unlock this Why? Why? Why would you... Okay. Okay. Really? Oh, okay. I see what we're gonna have to do. Fuck you, AJC. Oh, did that actually do it? So, when Herschel... Fun fact, you can actually skirt by websites telling you to pay for them by just not loading the website completely. That's a thing you can do. That is a thing you can do. So when Herschel Walker is asked about his history of violence against his ex-wife, the Republican United Senate hopeful often says he's been transparent about the tumultuous period where his mental health was at its worst. Instead, at campaign events and interviews, he often dodges questions about his abusive relationships with Cindy Grossman by saying he addressed his behavior in 2008 with his memoir, Breaking Free. But the 264-page book never mentions violence directed at Grossman. In fact, it seems to suggest there were no altercations, as it describes his struggles with mental illness. I can't point to any major blow-ups between us, but it felt like things had eroded. He wrote, discussing the end of his marriage. Walker's failure to address the violence undermines his repeated claims of transparency at a time when his history is facing sharper scrutiny. Republican and Democratic groups have aired ads featuring news clips of Grossman describing Walker physically assaulting her and holding a gun to her head. Democratic United States Senator Raphael Warnock's campaign last week for the first time launched an ad featuring footage of Grossman in the 2008 interview, along with snippets of court documents and police reports detailing the charges. The guns and knives, I got into a few choking things with him, Grossman said in the interview. He held the gun to my temple and said he was going to blow my brains out. Rather than speak about what happened during their tumultuous marriage, Walker instead alludes to his struggle with dissociative identity disorder and stresses that Grossman helped him through a rocky time in his life. He calls attempts to bring more attention to his past a descent into gutter politics. My opponents think they're hurting me, but I'm glad they did this ad, he said in a video response, because it gives me an opportunity to end the stigma around mental health. I'm sorry, but you don't get to hide behind I have DID if you hold a gun to your partner's head. I'm sorry. somebody may claim and try to clip this and say that I'm being ableist when I say this, but your mental health is never an excuse for how you treat other people around you. DID, dissociative identity disorder. You are ultimately responsible for your actions towards other people. As someone who has mental health issues and has had to go through therapy for them and has hurt people in episodes of mine, not physically, but with words, I am as responsible for those actions as I would be if I were any other lucid person. I am as responsible in an episode as I am in any other situation. I would like for people like Herschel Walker to have the exact same scrutiny. So, okay, I just walked in on some heavy shit. That gave me a bit of whiplash. Yeah, I tend to cover heavy shit every now and again. So if anything, the right makes the mental health stigma worse and enables the worst parts of mental health issues instead of resolving them. By and large, yeah. So, that's fucked up. More than a little. So mental health issues can be an explanation, not an excuse. No one's exempt from the consequences of their actions. Yep. So, we will go ahead and continue on here. A troubled history. Walker and Grossman met at the University of Georgia, where Walker was a star football player. They married in 1983. In his book, Walker said the relationship became strained after he left pro football. And that's when he also began having mental health issues. He said that he was diagnosed with DID, which had previously been known as multiple personality disorder. Walker said he wrote Breaking Free to remove some of the stigma surrounding mental health issues, and as a part of publicity tour surrounding the book's release, the two conducted joint interviews even though they were divorced. Speaking to ABC News, Grossman supported Walker's claims that he struggled with DID, said, "I began to see alters," Grossman said. Referring to the separate personalities. Even his physical countenance would change. The first thing I thought was that he had the devil in him or something. And this is the fucking problem with how people view mental health in the United States. As opposed to actually looking at it as a medical condition, people would like to look at it as demons, and then they call priests to fucking cleanse them of the demons. Farkin' hell. She also received interviews with ABC and CNN that Walker had revealed in interviews that Walker had been physically abusive. Grossman had not responded to recent attempts to contact her by the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Walker has not denied the allegations. In 2008, he acknowledged that he probably did it, but asserted that he couldn't remember. Memory lapses are common with DID. Walker has not repeated that explanation on the campaign trail, and although he has given dozens of speeches over the years about his mental health struggles, it does not appear he mentioned the domestic violence aimed at his ex-wife. Nor does he mention that in 2005, she took out a protective order against him. Grossman's sister, Mary Acetos, alleged in an affidavit that Walker had repeatedly threatened to kill Grossman and her boyfriend. A Dallas County, Texas judge granted the protective order and temporarily barred Walker from possessing guns. Anything else in here that is worth noting? As he entered politics, Walker has conflated his openness about his mental health with openness on domestic violence. Then he says, "I think the people in Georgia know who I am. I wrote a book about it." That doesn't mean people know who you are. That's not a defense, dude. I said there can be no road to nonviolence if there's been an episode and you are not willing to address it. You need to take personal accountability. His supporters say they believe he has changed. At a Woman for Herschel event in Kennesaw last month, Nancy Couch, president of the Cobb Republican Women's Club, said she trusts Walker. "I think that was in his past, and if we don't have forgiveness, what do we have? I know from knowing him that he has Georgia first in his heart to represent Georgia." Said, "Someone who can't control themselves, can you trust them?" Okay. So we're not getting a whole lot more context outside of the information we have so far, which is a bit disappointing. I would like a little more context. So you know who also wrote a book and everyone knows? Nah, maybe that's a bit too dark. Yeah, that's a bit too far. That's a bit too far. We're not talking about him. But the fact that polls say 38% support are frightening. I want to know for most people, like, if they support Herschel Walker, what's the reason why? Like, what's the reason for that? The jungle sound made this interesting? I mean, it is a soundtrack of various N64 bits of music. So it's literally on random. He says he's a Republican, he's not a Democrat. Yup. I just want to know what people actually think about when they see him. Why people actually care to vote for him. Did I say Democrat? Is that a thing I actually said? Because if I did, then that's a whoopsie on my part. But I want to know what voters see in him. I want to know why they actually want to vote for him. So no, you didn't? Okay. So what is a joke that would be against Marjorie Taylor Greene that would be a burn? I don't know. She exists. They're going to vote for him because he has that celebrity status. Yeah. It's a thing that happens all too often. But there's another bit of this that needs to be addressed. Herschel Walker is very pro-life, mostly because he toes the party line on Republicans and they are pro-life, so he is, because of course you would. But apparently, that doesn't actually extend to his actions. Herschel Walker, who has vehemently opposed abortion rights, as the Republican nominee for United States Senate in Georgia, paid for an abortion for his girlfriend in 2009, according to a new report. Walker called the report a flat-out lie and said he would sue. The Daily Beast spoke to the former girlfriend, who asked that her name not be used out of concerns for her privacy. In the report published late Monday, the news outlet said it reviewed a receipt showing her $575 payment for the procedure, along with a Get Well card from Walker and her bank deposit records showing the image of a $700 personal check from Walker dated 5 days after the abortion receipt. So that's what he was talking about when he was talking about the $700 check. The woman said Walker encouraged her to end the pregnancy, saying that at the time the time wasn't right for a baby. As a candidate, Walker has characterized abortion as a woman killing her baby, and has played up his position to the procedure in the wake of the Supreme Court ruling this year, stripping a woman's constitutional right to her access to abortion services. In a statement, Walker said that he would file a lawsuit against the news outlet on Tuesday morning. He said, "This is a flat-out lie, and I deny this in the strongest terms possible." Yeah, that sounds like a settlement's going to happen, actually. As of late Tuesday afternoon, Walker had not taken any legal action, according to a campaign spokesman. Matt Fuller, the politics editor for the Daily Beast, tweeted in response to Walker's initial denial, "I can tell you we stand behind every word and feel very solid about the story." Later Monday night, Walker appeared on Sean Hannity's program on Fox News, where Walker was asked if he recalled sending $700 in a check to his girlfriend. Then, of course, he did what we already saw in the beginning of the video. "I sent money to a lot of people. God has blessed me. I want to bless others." Former President Trump, who encouraged Walker to run for Senate, said Walker was being slandered and maligned. Well, of course Trump would think that. Herschel has probably denied the charges against him, and I have no doubt he's correct, Trump said in a statement. Walker and Democratic Senator Raphael Warnock are engaged in a tight contest that is key to the balance of power in the United States Senate. The chamber is now divided 50-50, with Vice President Kamala Harris holding the tie-breaking vote to give Democrats control. Warnock won the seat in the special election runoff in 2021, prevailing by 2% over Kelly Loeffler. The allegations against Walker The allegations against Walker is the latest in a series of stories about the football legend's past that has rocked the first-time candidate's campaign in one of the most competitive Senate races in the country. Earlier this year, Walker acknowledged reports that he had 3 children he had not previously talked about publicly. That must be what Christian Walker was talking about. He's often boasted of his work helping the service members and veterans struggling with mental health, yet the Associated Press reported in May that various records show he overstated his role in a for-profit program that is alleged to have preyed upon veterans and service members while defrauding the government. Oh, that's awkward. That's more than a little awkward. The Associated Press also has reported that a review of public records detailed accusations that Walker repeatedly threatened his ex-wife's life, exaggerated claims of financial success, and alarmed business associates with unpredictable behavior. Walker himself has at times discussed his long struggle with mental illness. Republicans targeted Warnock as perhaps the most vulnerable of the Democratic Senate incumbents, but they also were skeptical about Walker's viability as a statewide candidate, especially through the spring and summer as Walker's past was aired publicly. In recent months, Walker found his footing by attacking Warnock for backing President Biden's agenda in Washington. Biden won Georgia narrowly, but has seen his approval ratings for the state fall significantly since 2020. Okay. So we've already got, and most of this now is talking about Christian Walker, where he was talking about, how dare you say that you're a moral Christian upright man? You've lived a life of destroying other people's lives. How dare you? Okay, so we've come full circle. We are now talking about things we've already gone over in the video. We don't want to talk in circles. So where does all this lead us? What conclusions can we actually garner from all of this? Well, for one, we can at least garner that, like most politicians, Herschel Walker is already well equipped for that job by being a fucking hypocrite. It's like, my explanation, not excuse. It's fucking yikes for me. Just going through the chat real quick. Not only is he a hypocrite, but it's interesting that the actual things that he engages in do not align with what he is supposed to stand for. If he's supposed to stand for being a great family man, then what are all these families that he's left behind? If he's supposed to be this champion for mental illness, why is he using that as an excuse to excuse actions and ways he's harmed other people? If he's supposed to be pro-life, why is he engaging in giving people money for an abortion? Like, why is all that happening? It's not just that it's hypocrisy, it's that it's a lot of it, and it keeps on mounting up. This is on top of the stuff we've already talked about where Herschel Walker's concerned, where he literally denies actual science. When asked about things like evolution, he doesn't believe that it's a thing, wanting to hide behind his religion and his status as someone who's Christian. I'm sorry, I don't find science denialism and hypocrisy to be things that I want a politician to have, by and large. So I find it sublime that his own kids are calling him out. Well, of course they would at this point. So are Republicans even allowed to acknowledge evolution? Heck if I know, but it shouldn't be a thing that they care about as an actual bit of policy. It shouldn't. Said Bo just dropped a video related on this. Haven't seen Bo's video on it. Haven't seen Bo's video. So here's my prediction. I predict that Raphael Warnock will still win, but I think the margins are going to be very close, and I think it's going to be a handful of Republicans not voting for their Republican option that are going to lead to Warnock winning. I say that not only because I believe it, but also because I'd like to huff that copium and do everything in my power to not envision a world where this man represents me in the Senate. So I'm not an American, but to me, these Republicans of yours look like that child eating glue from the meme. Jesus Christ. Stone Dakota, thank you for redeeming your points for an ara. Fucking degen. It's going to be a 2 to 3 point margin win. That's kind of where I think as well. And I hope that it's not that close. Anywho, let me know what you think in the comments section below. This is more of an info dump video and less actual analysis of everything going on. And most of that's because most of the information speaks for itself. It kind of does. I don't know if Herschel Walker is a good person or a bad person, but I do know that he is painting himself to be a person that he apparently is not. So, less than ideal for me. Anyways, guys, let me know how you feel in the comment section below, and as always, insert end of video tagline here.